business at this age, God help you. That's all I can tell you. Even God will refuse to help you because God says, help yourself first before I can help you. So you need to understand that every day time is ticking. For every time that you are not making your own money or thinking about ways to make money, it clearly means that that time's gone and you cannot bring it back. How many of you right now, let's say, from monies that you've saved, have been able to open a bank account? Great. How many of you have taken that money and invested it? Great. Okay, a few, all right. Excellent. How many of you are investing in the blockchain and crypto space? Awesome. Now we're talking. But see what is interesting? All the people who raise their hands are guys. Oh, there you are. Oh, sorry. So one female. You need to be talking to the girls, the ladies. You need to be speaking to that lady. That is your future. That is your future. Okay? And I think it's interesting why you're choosing to sit on this side of the classroom. However, that said, we need to understand that 68% of the African transacting population, this means people transacting with their own money. Forget those that use your father's money to go and window shop and say, I like this car and I like that, you know, slaying or doing whatever it is. Please note you have no right to do that because that's not your money. When you make your money, you want to drive a Bugatti, you want to have a Hublot, whatever it is, let it be on your money. All right? And that can only happen if you start understanding the future now. Banks are already moving into crypto. So if anybody is telling you that, I don't know if we have anybody from Nigeria here. Nigeria was the first lot to start e-Naira. Many people, not even the government started e-Naira. The government started what you call the agric coin. It's there. It's been going on for the last 4 years. And countries are slowly beginning to pick up, right? So anybody that tells you the fear that, wait a second, blockchain, crypto, digital currency, it's because we don't have a face to it, that is the reason why it's successful. Because I don't know how many of you have ever lent monies to friends and are still chasing for it and never got back. I'm a victim to that, right? And these are people we know, these are faces we know. So if you can trust those that you know, can you at least put trust in something that you don't know? Because it's not about investing big time. It's about taking little nuggets. If you've got 50 CDs, 100 CDs, don't go beyond 500 CDs. Start putting it in small and forget about it. And forget about it. I will give you an example. There was a time, I think I was 20 or 21, and I had bought a laptop, and then my company said they wanted to borrow my laptop because they were waiting to get somebody else a laptop. And I messed my laptop up. Not badly, it was just something small, but I said, you know what, I'm going to make money out of this. So I said, I'm sorry, you've screwed my laptop. And they were like, oops. So I said, you need to pay me. This was the value for it. It took the money that they gave me, and I went and put it in a fixed deposit for 6 months rollover. By the time the first year came, I was able to get 3 value laptops off that. So it's about being smart. Now, I have a psychological problem. So let's say I'm at in my account, I might say $1,590, an example. So I psychologically keep my mind at, I'm not going to go below 1,500. So I keep the 90 for me to play with. If I want to shop, I want to do whatever. Once it gets to 1,610, I say 1,600 is, I'm going to play with 10. So it's again about how you program your in Africa. We suffer a poverty mindset because we believe everything has to be given. We don't think in a holistic manner. I'm going to give you an example. I'm a stool queen mother in 2 different areas. One in Memia last week, and I went and handed over a school want versus I need. And business is about needs and not wants. I want to drive a Jaguar, but do I need it? No. So we need to understand in business, there's something called, and I'd like you to take notes on this, DREK, difference, relevance, esteem, and knowledge. And I'm going to give you an example of that. So brands, businesses, and everything are built on these 4 pillars. If you spoke to a person sitting in Bronga. The guy in Bronga 4 is going to take and buy, and it's going to become the definer for the person in Accra car to take and buy. So that becomes the next thing to think when you're looking at businesses. What business idea do I have, and how is it going to be different? Is it relevant to where I want to put it? How will I get people to trust it? Because esteem is based on trust, integrity, and everything else. And how will I get them to know about it? So this is another crucial element that we need to think about when it comes to business. Now, one of the areas that we don't even look at is the opportunity in terms of monies and business plans that set. In terms of monies and business plans that set. Has anyone here ever written a business plan? It doesn't matter if you don't come in from the business. You have, okay? You have. Have, from the four of you, tweaked that business plan or seen opportunities? You have. Has it, in your business plan, have you done a chart in terms of the incomes that you see yourself generating month on month? Or have you looked at it, oh, this is what I want to make at the end of the year, right? So that's another change that you're going to have to make, because you need a business plan that is very, very dynamic. Every day things are changing. I mean, look at what the government has just done. Nobody knew that there was going to be an increase in VAT from 12.5 to now 19.5 effective 1st of January. For most of you that are going to start shopping or haven't shopped in the last couple of days, your food prices have gone up by 30%. And they're going to be going up even higher because there are other taxes that are going to be coming in the next couple of weeks. So when you're thinking business, whether you're thinking IT, whatever you're thinking about, you need to start being very intentional in terms of information, because all that impacts everything that you think you want to do. It even impacts the phone you're looking and planning to buy and you're saving on. Because if the value of that is going to increase by 40%, then that means you have to find 40% more to be able to get that phone. So you need to become very intentional when it comes to what you want to do in terms of the ideas of businesses that you're looking at. And I'm throwing it to you. I'm giving you the opportunity to have access to me to be able to identify 5 businesses, because I would love to see that at least in the next 4 to 6 months you have started a business. That should be your intent. Getting academic qualifications is one thing. I can tell, most of you already know, all the people running Facebook, and nobody finished university. They came with an idea. And it depends on who is going to be able to support them and buy into that idea and dream. And this is something that we women suffer because people don't want to invest in us. They look at us as objects first, before they look at us as investable. Okay, and it is unfortunately the scenario. So this thing about women, we saying that we need a seat at the table, I don't agree. And then you have another group that tells you, bring the chair to the table. I don't agree. Because what I'm saying is, why can't we create our own table? We don't need a seat at the table. We need to create our own table and bring each one to that table. We need to support one another because we have been presented in a very different manner. And that's why I keep saying that we need to think radically. We need to move away from the space of crying foul. We have what it takes. So when I see women saying that, and this word, whatever Bernard is, this thing about empowerment, we need to empower women. I'm the biggest challenger of that word because women already have power. We don't need empowerment. We need to be enabled, which means we need to be given access to knowledge, skills, funds, whatever it is. We don't need empowerment. I don't know how many of you have even thought about, did history. Did anybody ever do history? Okay. So that was one of the requirements in school in Kenya. We had to do history. And most of you, okay, since most of you didn't do history, I'm sure you all know about hunters and gatherers. No? Yeah? Okay. Okay. So hunters and gatherers. Men were sent out to hunt and then women were supposed to gather. The foods we eat today is thanks to women. Because women started civilization. Women understood that when those foods were coming in, they figured out which one was poisonous and which one was not. It wasn't men. Men from time immemorial had periods. So where do you think the calendar came from? It was some lady sitting there and saying, okay, there's something that's happening to me every little time. I don't know what it is, but let me just keep pebbles and see what is happening. So the calendar was created by women. Why am I sharing this with you is because we need to understand that women really had it all from that time. We already had it. So we need to just go and grab whatever it is that we need to get. It's not about asking, it's coming to the table with a bankable idea. A financier is not going to look at you and say, oh, you're a guy, you're a female. They're going to look at the paper that you put on their table. They're going to decide whether it's worth them putting their money in it or not. And he's a banker, he will tell you that. It is so important to come up with ideas that always provide solutions. And that's what we need to keep driving. So your task is to identify those opportunities, identify those businesses so that we can help you. And I'm sure, you know, Eugene is going to be able to find you so many people. We can pull in a pool of people that can come and look at your idea and even go to the extent of saying, okay, let's find you the funding for this. Now, I don't know how many of you know Impact Hub, AfriLabs, MEST. None of you have heard of that? Okay, you have? Oh, great, two. So can you write down this? MEST is Meltwater Africa, Meltwater Technology Africa. Impact Lab, AfriLabs. Please start getting yourselves engaged with these people. Go onto their website, read, get the ideas that are sitting there. Because once you have the ideas, I train incubators and I do a lot of them. Startups. And we get them money. I don't know if many of you even heard of, you know, an app called Wire. This guy and some others that I know that I was recently training are moving $9 million. The guy's 24, $9 million through his app. It hurts to think that, you know, you guys could be sitting with gems of ideas, but because of lack of knowledge, because you haven't been given access to that to know that you could actually do this, or you may not know how to go about it, you've not been able to, you know, get your ideas blossomed. I just want you to know there's so much opportunity out there. And that's why I said I don't want to limit this to just being women in business, because I want everyone successful. Because in the process, we all lift one another. It's no more just about women in business. It's about how, even if a woman comes in as a leader, to be able to attract everybody else. Eugene will tell you, all my staff and employees are deaf and dumb. Every single one of them, except my driver. And why did I do that? It's because nobody's giving them an opportunity. Nobody's going to go and recruit deaf and dumb. But I chose to do that because somebody is going to have to make that change, right? And this is my plea to you, that if you're going to go into business, please look at something that is going to change. And it's going to make us start doing things better, because I can promise you, you are the generation that's going to make the future better. We have all screwed it up. Even screwed it up. Older than me even screwed it up even more. Really made it a bad place for Earth. So if you look at spaces like clean technology, if you look at smart cities, if you look at the mobility track, if you look at the housing track, there's a lot of stuff happening in that space. I want each one of you to invest at least some knowledge in technology. Please go and get those free courses, because everything is now about digital. It's about technology. It's about the metaverse. So even if you want to go into the health space, even if you want to go into marketing, you're going to be irrelevant if you do not understand anything about technology. If you do not understand anything about AI, you need to go in there. So you need to have some element of technology in your ideas, because that's where the money is coming from. It's coming from the big boys in Tech City. So when I go into rooms mentoring young people and the business ideas that they have, I mean, I can tell you, I don't know if you go online and look for a company called Scrap Pays in Nigeria, young guy. What did he do? He just thought about, wait a second, there's so much scrap. and rubbish, but we're waiting for the government to come and clean it up, and then my community people don't care because they think they're paying tax, so I'll continue to throw it there. They really don't care who's going to pick it up. So he thought of an opportunity of how to turn that into money. And all he did was go to the community and told some boys, okay, 20 of you, I'm going to hire you, but each one of you is going to earn, and what you do is to pick scrap and dirt from this area, and then he went and tied up with a supplier who's looking for scrap because that supplier onwards goes to sell to the steel people, and they created a whole value chain from rubbish. So this is what I'm trying to say. Everything came in from a problem. He identified a problem that was just outside his doorstep, that I have an issue, there is rubbish here, but nobody is cleaning it up. So again, it goes back to what are the personal problems you are facing personally, in your community, in your homes. There's a business idea sitting there. There's a business idea sitting there. All you have to do is look at it and try to identify and say, hey, where can I get this? Now, what is also happening, and that's why I'm trying to push everybody into the technology space, and also what we can do for Africa is because I'm a firm believer in Africa, and I keep saying this, that the earth has the right to spit you out and not bury you if you do not do right for this land. Everybody thinks the grass is greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. If you take a watering can and consistently keep watering an area that is sandy, that is just outside your doorstep, it will bring a green plant. So it's not about being on the other side. It's about what you can do where you are. So you need to, again, think very differently. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm not going to be lecturing you in the traditional approach of what we've all been taught in university and that. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself so you can understand why I'm sharing this radical approaches. I'm going to be turning 50 at the end of this year, all right? So sometimes I sit back and I think to myself, what did I do with my life? I quit a job that was paying me $30,000 a month. $30,000 a month, okay? And I cried after 2 days when I quit. What the hell have I done? But it didn't tie in with what I wanted to do. I felt I needed to get into a space where I bend down and lift people up. I made the money that I needed to make, all right? I'm a single parent. But at the same time, I had a brain stroke. I was paralyzed. It just all happened because life was throwing curveballs. So as a woman, I totally understand it. My father lost weight, and I think at one point he was 24 kgs. That's the weight of a suitcase. I used to carry my father in my hands. I have cleaned my father. I have cleaned my mother recently because she had a stroke as well. All right? But that's because we women are nurturers. This is what we have to do. Why am I sharing it this? I know, somebody may not understand, but the reason I'm sharing this with you is because you cannot separate business from your personal life. Everything that you do in life is triggered by that. You have to have a purpose. You have to have a purpose. I don't know how many of you know your purpose. I like that. Do you know your purpose? You don't, right? And it's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay. Because if you don't know your purpose, then you don't know what you're going to build. You don't know what you intend to do. Making money is a purpose, but it isn't the end. Right? There has to be a trigger as to why you want to make that money. So you need to go back and identify what is your purpose. For you as an individual, what it is the purpose of your business, what is the purpose of the idea that you're coming up with. Now, why did I share that I didn't need to share that personal information, but the reason I shared it is because sometimes we all look at people and think they're so successful, right? And social media cheats you on this. It shows you people, you don't realize, I have young guys who come to events and they come with a photographer, and then before I know it, I see them on Facebook, and they're showing off cars that is not even their own. It's probably cars in the car park. And then we all of a sudden think, oh, he's done so well. Oh my God, Kwame is now called an ambassador. And you're like, sorry, what? So there's so much that is unreal that is being thrown at you that it makes you feel inferior. It makes you feel lesser. It makes you feel like you haven't achieved. Now, I stand in front of you and I can tell you stories of stuff that I have gone through in my life that I wonder when I stand here, and that is my measure of success, not the money that I earned. If I told you standing here that I was sold as a human, I was trafficked and sold in India. So when I'm standing here, I'm sharing this with you because I want you to know that behind everyone that is deemed successful, it depends on what your definition of success is, has a lot of stuff that is going on in the back end that you don't know. And that is what has driven my purpose to want to do things better. So the next piece I want you to write and for you to look up at is called Good is the New Cool. You need to follow these guys on LinkedIn. And by the way, how many of you are on LinkedIn? Oh, great. Please, everyone go on to LinkedIn. Even if you want to create a ghost account, please be on LinkedIn, because that's where you make the networks. That's where you're going to be found. That's where you're going to make business connections, and that's where ideas are going to come from. So if you're not on it, create that account. You just have to follow people. That's all you have to do. And you'll be surprised at the knowledge that's going to be in there, the networks that it's going to build. You might be part of a book, a chapter that you'll be writing because somebody wants to write something about you, and you make money on royalties on that. So I'm just giving you ideas to understand that you can do so much. Business is about making an income. So any one of you is offering advice for free, stop it. Even to a friend. You need to start learning how to monetize your ideas, your thoughts, even to a family member. My daughter does it with me. It's going to cost you. Even if it's 10 CDs. You've got to learn to, because if you don't keep that culture of being paid for thoughts and your ideas, then that means you will never be valued. And you will understand your own value. So it's so important for you to understand, how can I leverage this? Everything is not about saying I want to be rich. Okay, and that's another thing. There's a difference between rich and wealthy. So I'm sure this side of the table wants to be rich. Yeah, he's in his head. And then there are those who want to be wealthy. So if you do not understand the difference between the two, you will continue to be chasing your tail round and round, looking for money and not understanding that there's a lot of stuff to be done. This morning, and that's why when I'm standing here with you, and Eugene knows because he got a call from me about a business idea, and that's why I'm pleading with you, share your ideas with me, because there's somebody who's got $30 billion is looking for young people to invest in. And I don't know, you're sitting here, I don't know who has an idea that could be banked on, that can be given the support. And the reason why I've asked you to reach out to people like MEST and follow Impact Hub and follow AfriLabs, there's a reason why I'm telling you to do that, because you guys, that you just need to be given the opportunity to put your idea through. And these are the kind of people that will allow you to do that. So I need you to start thinking very differently, move away from book knowledge. Book knowledge is important because it gives you at least an understanding. But global, street, world knowledge is where it is all at. It's important for you to understand that. And look at ideas. I mean, one of the ideas I'll give you, I don't know how, is there anybody from Kenya here? No? No? So there's this thing in Kenya that is going on right now, and it'll be great if somebody in, one of you sitting here takes it and works it for Ghana. So in Kenya we have little stalls, dukas, you know, mushrooming up everywhere, and people have shelves, like, so you go and you see people selling clothes. So the stuff you see on the streets here, you know, selling clothes and shoes and whatever. So somebody said, and in fact I'll get the name and I'll send it to Eugene to share with you. And this guy looked at it and said, wait a second. So everybody is sharing, you know, like, I mean, have you seen online, you go to buy stuff on Instagram and whatever, but they don't physically have a shop. They say, we'll deliver to you, right? So this guy looked at this idea and he said, okay, wait a second. How can I lease out shelves? So he just goes to somebody down the street here and says, you know this shop of yours, you're selling Fritol, you're selling soap, can I rent out your shelf? And then he rents it out to other people. So what happens is that now if I want to go, and I'm in this area in Hacho, and I want to buy a pair of shoes on Instagram, I will actually tell you to come to that store. but I don't have anything to do with that store. But I'm renting out the shelf on that store. So this guy has gone and created this now across Kenya, and he's minting. It was just because he came up with an idea that people are not having access, because people can't go rent. I mean, can you guys afford rent? No. Market that has something to sell. You probably want to sell your phone or your laptop, but you don't know where to take it or where to go and put it. And people nowadays are cautious about meeting people or whatever, so they say, okay, I have a store, come to this place. I have another mentor. What he does is he buys shoes, but he goes specifically buying trainers that he knows that are either limited edition or is not going to be easy to find, and then he buys them when they're at the lowest price. Whoever he gets online that is buying it from the legit company, if he buys it at $100, he's currently selling it at $2,000, $2,500. The boy is 21. So what I'm trying to tell you is that there's so much. It makes me feel sad because I'm like, this kind of stuff I would have been doing it before. But I'm glad that my daughter is going down that line, right? Now, the other area is for you to look at, and I hate that I'm saying this at a university, is that there's one thing going in, I don't know how many of you, and in terms of the professions that you're looking at going into, but please choose the professions that you want to go into very smartly. Pick any profession that cannot be replaced by artificial intelligence. Please understand this. If you're intending to be a doctor, you're going to be replaced. If you're intending to be a pharmacist, you're going to be replaced. If you're intending to be a professor in a language, you're going to be replaced. So you need to look at things where the human brain is going to be needed. Not something that is going to be replaceable by a robot. But you also need to understand that behind the robot is going to be a human brain that is needed. Right? So that robot's going to work on instructions. Hence the reason why each one of you is going to go this weekend, is going to go to Sarah, or is going to go on EDX, or is going to go to any one of these free platforms, is going to invest 3 weeks of your time, an hour a day, to start at least learning artificial intelligence. So I've given you 3 key things today. First, I want to understand 5 business ideas, and please don't feel embarrassed, ashamed, or even think about it being wrong or right. Share it. Something's going to come out of it. I promise you. Second, I want you to invest in yourself. Please go and take up and target yourselves that in the next 2 to 3 months, you are going to at least get, if not 6 to 10 free certifications. In other areas, if you want to go and study psychology and you're not, do it. It doesn't matter if you're in IT, do it. Because if you want to understand consumers, you need psychology. Consumerism is not driven by demographics. It's driven by psychographics. What makes people buy what they buy? Why do they buy what they buy? When do they buy what they buy? So this is going to be the important. So invest in areas that are not your line. Invest in areas that is not your line, because all you're going to do is get extra knowledge. Knowledge is the only thing you can invest in yourself. Because if you want to do business, you want to be able to walk into a room and say, sorry, what did you talk about? Ah, I know about NFTs. Ah, okay. Pretend. Even if you have to bullshit your way through it, pretend, and then go learn it. Sit with people. Find out what it is. BS through it. Go and learn it. It's for free. Nothing is stopping you. Nothing is stopping you but yourself. So this is not something where you can blame parents. No one but yourself. And the third thing you need to do is to find your purpose. I want you to question yourself, and it's okay. Your purpose can change. You can change, but at least understand what is the reason for what it is that you want to do as an individual. What it is that you'd like your business to do, if you come up with a business. And third, what do you want your life purpose to be? Because that's going to drive a lot of things that you want to do. And at the same time, I want you today to also pat yourselves on the back. Because guess what? A lot of you have gone through frustrations. A lot of you have thought you're not going to make it. A lot of you never knew you were going to be here today. Right? But guess what? You are here today. Things happened. Stuff happened. you still made it through. So this is what is something that we're going to have to also understand, that we will go through storms, we will go through challenges, but we will still come through it. Maybe not at the level that we want to, but we will come through it. And last and least, we never talk about this, but mental health. I know you guys go through the challenges, stress, everybody's expecting you, your parents are nagging you, they're expecting you to bring in the grades and how much they've spent on you and how much they've invested, and your disappointment, and why do you have dreadlocks, and whatever else and everything else. But I want you to understand, unfortunately, it's not coming in from a space of not caring, it's coming from a space of fear. Because they don't know what's going to happen. They're not going to be there for you tomorrow. So they try their best, and they try to push you in a way that they know, because they were conditioned in that way. So all you need to do is just go out there. Listen, you want to be in music and you don't want to do a degree in marketing, go and do music. Just go and do it. I know. Yeah. It's important, and I'm coming to it. You can do things because you've got to make your parents happy because they're paying for it. And that's fine. I didn't say stop it. But you can still do what you need to do by investing in yourself. You just nodded because you're into music. What have you gone and got yourself involved in the music industry? No, one thing is performing. I can go, I'm performing. It's an act right now. How do you monetize it? Excellent. So you're already making money. There you go. Well done. So how many of you are buying his music? Yeah. Excellent. So there you go. So this is it. So hats off to you. Hats off. And this is exactly what we're talking about. I'm glad there's an example that you can continue to do things to make your parents happy, because remember, they brought you to life. So we do owe them that. But that doesn't stop you in terms of going for the passion and the ideas that you have, and they don't need to know about it, because ultimately they just want to see that you're successful and happy in what you're doing. What you need to know is that they and other people like us are here for guidance. So we're going to be the people that guide you. So all I can say is thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to your proposals.
Okay, so we'll take a few questions, if there are any. Because of the time constraints, I'm taking only 3 questions today. So, Joseph, Mr. Joseph, who else? Just 3 questions today. Why is everyone looking at Mr. Anto? He has no question today. Raja, you have a question? So, 2, one last question.
There's no wrong or right question, and if you
and
want
the
to ask
ladies,
it later, it's okay.
Okay. Chief, you just came right now. You want to ask a question? Yes, there was a hand here before.
There was a hand here.
Joseph.
Yeah. You were talking about how I should stand up. Oh, and Simon. Beautiful. Musician, should I say the artist name or real name? Is the artist name we're pursuing. But my real name is Ugonna Joseph Lion Okure. I'm studying business, but I'm doing music. Yes. So yeah, you spoke about how there's a lot of money. Yeah, and I know that because I worked for someone. I don't want to say his name because I don't know. And I was looking for grants and stuff like that. But what I found out was that the grants and what I was seeing, I was mostly seeing stuff about technology and agriculture and business startup. I just want to see somewhere where like somebody can say, okay, like bring your music, bring your sound, submit your sound. If we like it, we invest. So people say there's a lot of money everywhere, free money, but we all know where like people are plugging the money to technology and stuff than things. But when it comes to like, there's a lot of money, but in that entertainment sector, people are really scared to bring the money because everybody has a SoundCloud link. Now you just wow, 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 and it's on SoundCloud. So I was just saying, me from the musician point of view, because obviously you need that big money to get on the O2. So if you were me, what would you do?
I've understood. Okay, so you picked technology and you picked agriculture, right? What made you think that music can't go through technology? Because that is the future. That's what's happening right now. Everything is going through tech. Whatever you're listening on your phone is music through technology. So there's one thing about saying, I want to create the music. So is your question in terms of looking for money to be able to help you produce?
Push the music,
right?
Yeah.
So write this down. Try and approach Africa House in the US. Africa House is part of Platform Capital, and they are looking at giving ideas to young people in terms of arts, culture, and all that space. And if you did go into Google, I can promise you, if you did tie it up, I will try and look for some and I will share them with Eugene. There's no stoppage. It's just because the pages that you're going in through. So before I forget, for the women, please write this down, ifundwomen.org. It is a crowdfunding specifically for women by women. So in case you have ideas that you need to put in there. So going back to yours, there's a lot of this out there. I will give them to Eugene. But what you need to understand is it's not about just saying I will get a grant and I'll give you money to produce. You're going to have to give them a plan in terms of intent to make that work. Now, while doing that, it's also important to understand what is the purpose of the music that you're coming with, right? Because if you are able to, and that's the reason people are spending a lot of money right now on women, youth, agri-technology, and sustainability. Okay? Today, by the way, whatever I'm wearing here is 80% plastic and 20% cotton. Because the world is moving to sustainability. Okay? But we don't think about that because we think, what the hell, what do you mean I'm going to wear plastic? But it is sustainable. So you need to look at ideas that will conform to certain SDG goals. Because funders are looking for things that are going to be able to change the narrative. So if you're looking at music that can change behavior, that can change mindsets, that can support youth, that support women, that can support in your lyrics and stuff like that,
you can support women.
You'll get access to money. We'll get it.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was a hand. Is it you?
Hello, my name is Abeku. So I came in a bit late, but from what I heard from your presentation, you were saying we should make sure whatever career we want to pursue cannot be replaced by AI. But my question is, let's say I'm studying computer science, but for a while now, I'm more of diversifying towards the entertainment side, like as in with regards to videography and photography. So what would be your advice on balancing those two careers to make the maximum impact?
Okay, so they're absolutely interchangeable because anything that in digital and photography, you know, is the content that goes into work in terms of what is required right now on social media, on anything that you do right now that's good technology, requires photography, cinematography, it needs all that. So you are in the right space. The question is, are you monetizing the photography that you do? Do you know today that it's very difficult for you to find a bank? I don't know how many of you use Getty Images, use StockShot? Any one of you? Okay, one guy, two. Have you seen how much it's a problem to find any African images? Yeah, you can't find African images. So the first thing you should be doing is take as many photographs that you can take that advertising agencies, entertainment industries, XYZ will come to pay royalty to you for those photographs. Because there is no stock. You can see images in Kenya, in Nigeria, they're using the same stock image all the time. Because there is no bank of it. There's nobody who's actually doing a pool of African bank images. So if you're a good photographer and you have good skills in terms of cinematography, take that, create a platform, because you have a computer science background, create a platform where you can sell and monetize what you produce.
Yes, there was a hand around here. Okay.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Caleb. And I wanted to ask, what are the best ways of making passive income? Because as a student, you have like, let's say, a very tight schedule and then you're not able to really do anything. So what do you suggest in that space?
I think I already told you, give me 5 business ideas that you have and I'll get you to make paces. It's about hustling on the side, right? And for example, if you know, I'm just giving you a rough example. If you know in your community for now, certain brands or certain products or certain categories are not available, and you know that there's an opportunity to start supplying homes, okay, and telling your dad, okay, dad, I'm going to start a business. What I need is your car, and tell me how much fuel you want me to be putting in it. And then what you do is you catch up with different people and say, my job now is to do door-to-door deliveries within my community. I'm just giving you a rough idea. So there's a lot of things that you could do with the resources that you already have. Now, can you imagine walking to your dad and saying, okay, dad, I'll pay you for the fuel? He's straight away going to feel my son's grown up. You know what I mean? So it depends on what it is you want to do and what are you good at. I can't give you a solution if I don't know what you're good at and what is the problem that you've identified. Passive income will be there if you already know of a problem and you have a solution to provide it. Like this one, nobody thinks about going and selling to people. I mean, it's a big thing in Kenya. I don't know about here. Right now what people are doing on groups is they're messaging each other, and if they're living in this area, they're saying, hey, listen, I'm going to be going to Palace, and I'm going to a supermarket, can everybody tell me what they want? And then what you do is, instead of going and buying 1 bag of flour, the person will buy 10 or 15, they're going to use their car, and then they go around getting everybody's shopping list, and then the person goes and delivers and makes money out of it. So what is happening is, because consumers can no longer buy bigger packs of things, so it's called breaking bulk. So if you buy a bag that has 20 packs inside, you find 20 people to sell it off. If you buy 24 bottles of water, you find 12 people to sell it to, or you find 24. But you find a community that you all say that we're going to create it as a business. So today it's your turn, somebody else does it tomorrow, and that's what we do. Now there's another thing, I don't know how many of you, I'm assuming, this is just an assumption that everybody here understands Susu or is Ghanaian. So you know Susu? So in Kenya we have something similar called Chama. Now, very interestingly, Ghana hasn't got to that level. What we do in Kenya is that the women became smarter, and then the guys, because before it was about, okay, so you're putting 100 CDs, 100 CDs, 100 CDs, and then today is my month to take the 500, then next month is another person 500. So they decided, no, what we're going to do is we're going to invest this money. Today, most of the properties and land in Kenya is actually owned by those people. So can you imagine, just within yourselves, is each one of you said, okay, I'm going to be putting in, 200 CDs a month to you. I'm just giving you a rough figure. And then you come in together and you say, we're going to go and invest this in a certain business. Do you know about an angel investing? Can you imagine that each one of you sitting here can actually passively go and invest in other small startups? Your own money, 500 CDs here, 1,000 CDs there, 500 there, you can actually put it in. So you need to look up the angel investors in Ghana. Type it up in Google and you're going to find them as well. You don't have to physically own your own business. You can actually go in investing 100 here, 50 there tomorrow. Within yourselves, you can take 10 people and say, we're going to be doing 100 CDs per month. You get 1,000 CDs, collect 5,000 CDs, go and put it into something. That's passive income. You've just got to be smart about it.
Right, so let's put our hands together one more time. Yes, so where is Sigrid? Yes, so please come and do this presentation as we do every week on behalf of the class. This is a token from the students and from the university for the time you've taken to come and give us these pieces of advice. Thank you so much. So let's put our hands together for, yes. All right, so kindly take a seat. Thank you so much. Yolene, I call her Jolene. She says her name is Yolene. Okay, so please come and do a vote of thanks on behalf of your colleagues. Thank you.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the students present today for this session, we'd like to say a very big thank you for everything you have taught us today, because there are a lot of stuff we didn't know about. Yeah, it might not be an excuse, but knowing that we'll try to improve upon ourselves and make our lives better in the long run. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So our guest lecturer for today will take her leave, and then we can all now leave. For those who are taking the principles of macroeconomics class with me. Yes, we have our mid-semester exam in the next 30 minutes. Yes, we start at exactly 2 o'clock. She asked whether you've heard the word "you start," and you all kept quiet. Meanwhile, I taught you that thing last week. I was so disappointed, all of you. I mentioned "you start" in that class. We'll meet in the next 30 minutes.